Hi scientists, my name is Mariana and I'm with Scientific Adventures for Girls. Today we'll be learning how to make our own homemade fossils like this one.
Now, real fossils are made from the remains of plants and animals that lived a long time ago. The remains of plants and animals were buried and eventually turned into stone and were sealed inside rocks. There are many different types of fossils, like moldings or casts, but there are also trace fossils that show traces of animals like dinosaur footprints. Scientists called paleontologists study the history of life on Earth by studying fossils.
But today we'll be making our own version of homemade fossils just by using a few simple ingredients.
To make your homemade fossils, you'll need a fourth a cup of salt, a half a cup of used coffee grounds, a fourth a cup of cold coffee, half a cup of flour plus a little bit extra, and a bowl and spoon. You'll also need a plate, pan, or wire cooling rack to let the fossils dry, and a bit of wax paper or parchment paper. And of course, you'll need some small items to fossilize. You can use small plastic items or toys, or use some items found in nature, like leaves, pine cones, and seashells. Start by mixing all your ingredients together in a bowl. A half a cup of the coffee grounds, a fourth a cup of the cold coffee, a fourth a cup of the salt, and half a cup of the flour. Keep your flour out because you'll probably need to add more later. You can mix all these ingredients together with a spoon in your bowl, but you'll want to use your hands too so you can feel it turn into dough. Your dough will probably be pretty wet and sticky, so add some flour a little bit at a time and mix it together with your hands, or knead it, until it's not so sticky. You can do this in a bowl, but I took my dough out of the bowl so you could see what it looks like. When your dough feels like sugar cookie dough, it should be ready. Divide up your dough into pieces and roll them up into balls. I made 6 small pieces and 1 large piece. You can make your fossils however big or small you want, but keep in mind that smaller fossils will dry faster. Once you have your dough ready, it's time to choose what items you want to fossilize. I chose a small decorative flower, some seashells, some coastal redwood pine cones, and plastic toy rings. To make the fossil, you'll take a piece of dough and gently flatten it with your hand. Then take the item you want to fossilize, like a leaf, and press it into the dough. Make sure to press down on the edges so you get a good outline. Then you'll gently peel off your item so it leaves a nice imprint and doesn't get stuck in the dough. The great thing about this is that if you mess up or don't like how your imprint looks, you can simply roll the dough up again and start over, like I did. This time, I made sure to flip the leaf over so that the veins underneath the leaf showed up in my fossil. When you're done pulling the item out of your fossil, carefully put it to the side and work on your next fossil. Once you're done making your fossils, they'll have to dry for a day or two, so make sure you put them on a plate or a pan with a piece of wax paper. You can also put them on a wire rack, which might help them dry faster. Here's a picture of what my fossils look like after one day of drying. You can see that they're still a bit wet, but I turned them over so it could dry on the bottom too. Putting your fossils in front of a fan or outside in the warm sun might help them dry faster. Once your fossils are done drying, you can paint them or even play a game with them. I made a short fossil matchup challenge with my fossils. Try answering the following questions to match up the correct fossils. You can try making up your own challenges with your homemade fossils too, and challenge a friend or family member. Can they do them with their eyes closed and only using their sense of touch? Try it out. Looking at these fossils, which one do you think is not made by something from nature? Here's a closer look. It was the middle one. It was made by a toy, but the other fossils were made from items from nature. Did you get it right? Here's another one. Can you match up each item to its correct fossil? Here are the answers. Did you get them right? Do you think you could do this challenge with your eyes closed if you could only touch each item? Try it with your own fossils.
Thanks so much for joining me, scientists, and I hope you have fun making and playing with your homemade fossils.